Hey guys, Loman02, part 3 in this testing series. I'm going to be playing a Storm deck against a Storm deck. So, this is an unkeepable hand, although it has a lot of very cool cards in it. It has no lands, unfortunately, so mull. Ooh, well guys, I think this is a keeper with a scry. It's very dicey, because this deck really does need to hit its cards. And Sunken Runes is one of the worst lands to have in my opening hand, because, well, none of my spells are castable and I'll require a second blue source. Going to 5 in a 29 land deck is a very dicey proposition. It could work out for us in our favor. However, I think we just need to take the scry and pray that it works out. So I think we keep this. Yeah, 29 lands is very few. Yep, so I think this was correct line. And we're going to hope we dodge a wasteland. We know what we're playing against. Actually, he does not. So let me just wish him good luck. Have fun and good luck, man. That said, I don't think it really changes my game plan whatsoever. I don't have counterspells in this. I just have some discard to protect my combo. So, there's that. And I will be able to land a Jace, which is actually a pretty big game. I also have Ideas Unbound if we want to just use it to draw into lands. I mean, it's not going to be card positive for us. Really, Ideas Unbound is only card positive if... Alright, this is going to get Underground Sea, I think. With Jace, I feel pretty comfortable. We'll be able to find some landage. I'm going to need red. This deck does function on red mana. But I do not think it's a Badlands here. I think we're just going to try to jam the Jace and hope it does not get, dazed or, whatevered. Now, I do still want to hit a land next turn pretty badly. Okay, Merchant Scroll. Probably 4 High Tide. Let's take a look at the revealed zone here. My guess would be High Tide. Oh, Force of Will. Okay. Well, they assumed correctly we are playing combo. Alrighty, go ahead, sir. Found my land. Ideas Unbound is probably the worst card easily in my hand. Force of Will is irksome, though. But if I do hit a Cabal Therapy or something along those lines, that'll be good. Okay. That resolves. I'm actually just going to bounce this with Repeal as opposed to casting my other spell. Because I don't think they're going to want to Force Spike this. So, Repeal. Just get a little deeper in the deck. I don't think they're going to try to counter this. If they do, cool. Okay, Sleight of Hand. Cool. Well, Visions of Beyond is going to be good eventually. Sadly enough... Well, is it Mancer? It's probably Mancer here. I just want to find land right now. Alright, we'll take Mana Flare, I think. I'm going to Visions right now. I could have flipped Jace this turn, but no need. Okay, Yogg-Will. Alright, cool. There's some cool cards in my hand, but I missed on lands, unfortunately. This is one of those situations where actually I'd probably almost rather have the Jace just for looting as opposed to recasting. But if I get to have him next turn, I'll probably just try to recast Ideas Unbound. Or I could wait on him. Probably won't wait on him, but probably Forbidden Alchemy for landage. Well, they Merchant Scroll for Force, which either means they have counter magic. I'm sorry, they have High Tide in hand, or they thought that I was a control deck, possibly. The obvious right play, and I should have said this before, was to probably use the Sunken Runes. I just didn't know if I was going to make my land drop or not that turn. I guess I still should have done it. I should have tapped Island, tapped Sunken Runes to make the double blue for Sleight. Or Twist Ring. Alright, cool. That's fine by me. Did you hit land drops? Turn off auto yields here. Probably will. I guess I can't Visions from Beyond, yep. But I did hit my land, which is kind of cool. Yeah, my hand was decent before, but it's fine. Well, are you missing your land drop? That'd be kind of crazy. We know they don't have Force of Will anymore. Well, they could have it. They did stop my Jace from flipping, which is kind of cool. Alright, Entomb. Chain of Vapor seems kind of bad in this matchup. Cast down Baral. Okay, go. So we know they're drawing to lands here. That's what they're trying to draw to. They're missing land drops. It's pretty rough. Okay. So they're still looking for landage. But it's nice they're casting this now as opposed to casting it on an active high tide. Another interesting combo that actually could work in this matchup is like Quicken into Time Twister. Alright, Geyser. Oh, they're playing Brain Geyser? Wow, that's pretty sweet. It's a sweet old card. And Forbidden Alchemy goes the way of the yards. They found their land. They wouldn't have thrown Forbidden Alchemy out, I don't think, if they had not found their land. Alright, what have we got, my friend? Okay. Okie doke, red mana. They got Bolt in the deck. Alrighty. Do I want to flip Jace next turn? I think I do. They could counter this. Crazy as it seems, I'm going to take Island here. Looking for red mana here. Volk of my own, possibly. Alrighty, we're going to see. Alright, get in there, buddy. Let's go ahead and plus Jace up here. Yep. Alright. Factor fiction? Cool. Well, do you want land and tendrils, your win counter, or do you want 2 counter spells? Alright, I think they're 2 cards. I get to draw my peek. Cool. And I probably will take a quick peek at the end step here. Alright, I can fetch Underground Sea here, more than likely. Alrighty. Suppose if they try to go for it in Thistle, we could try to Visions from Beyond on ourselves if they go up to 20 cards in the yard. Another line for us is we can actually just cast Forbidden Alchemy, right? Yeah, we're 1 short. Never mind. If we peek into a land, we could. Alrighty. What have we got, brother? Huh. Okie doke. You can untap. 1 second, buddy. Chain of Vapor that, though, with Jace. Which, I mean, you don't really want to be spending your counter magic on that. Get a peek on the end step here, too. And that should be pretty good with Cabal Therapy. Okay, converting Muddle into probably what? Merchant Scroll? Alright, so Muddle down. So we know they have Mana Leak, pretty specifically Demonic Tutor. Okay. Demonic Tutor can get High Tide. Okay. Doke. Well, they want to counter a peek. Alright, Mana Leak is their only card they can cast, or I guess Condescend for 1. Alright, do you counter this? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Okay. Alright, draw into that card. Cloud of Fae. High Tide, I think. They can flip my Jace if they'd like. Okey-doke. Your go, my man. Well, we could wheel here. We could wheel. There's a thing we could do. Okie doke. Demonic Tutor. For what? Yawgmoth's will? The will of Yawgmoth? Alrighty. We can also just find Snap, I guess. What does that do? What are they finding here? Like, Yawgmoth's Will is probably what makes the most sense. But that means they're not casting Wheel this turn. They're just leaving up Condescend and passing it. I mean, I guess they could Meditate as well to draw a bazillion cards, but I would love if they cast Meditate, because that gives me a turn to meditate as well. Can both just meditate, sit around, and draw 4 cards and skip our next turns. Such a combo card. Very good, though. Very, very good card. I suppose if they meditated here, they'd probably have to discard. Could be finding Force of Will, maybe. Again. I don't per se think it's great. It puts them in the reactive role here in this matchup, which I think tends to disfavor them, but I could be wrong on that. Alright, yep, they found Yawgmoth's Will. Well, that seems really good. Alright, what have you got, my man? I could also just Time Spider or Time Twister here. They can condescend it for 3, but or 2 even. That's not phenomenal, I don't think. Alright, unfortunately... Well, can they make mana off of this? Not really. Get rid of this. Alright, so Wheel is gone. Condescend is still in there. We could discard the Condescend as well. Could do that. I think what I like here is saving this dude up. Put him to 4. I need to find more ritual effects. I'm just going to cast Ideas Unbound here, of all things. Probably should have, again, used the Sunken Runes, but I'm just going to cast this to honestly sauce up my yard. They should probably condescend this. They do not. And it also allows me to play lands. Alrighty. So, I suppose we play a land here. It also allows me to get value off of Visions from Beyond. Alright, attack. Attack my little friend. Alright, I will discard some cards. We'll discard Bob, Tendrils, and I think Time Twister. Alright. Okay, they found a land, which is very good for them. That is very, very good for them. That is their hand right now. Alrighty. What have we got, my man? I'm trying to remember how Meditate works if they're both cast. Like, so if they cast theirs and I cast mine in response, they would take the other turn, and then they would replace it with me taking the next turn, and then it would just wash out, right? Because then I can Visions. That's kind of the play here, I think. Okay. So you can High Tide here, but what does that do for you? How do you untap mana right now? I don't see how this works. I really do not see how this works. You can High Tide once, but then it's just you could Demonic Tutor, but then it'd have to be something that like is 0 mana and untaps lands. That is not a thing I know of. So I think they whiffed this one. I don't think they wanted to pass in Flames yet. I think they needed to get at least one more land. If they had one more land, they could High Tide the tap 2 and then Frantic Search and make mana. Alright, they're going to draw into the High Tide. Okay. It is on top of your deck, sir. Now, how do you draw into it? If maybe they just did it just to get the High Tide. Okay. Okay. So, but wait. Now they have the High Tide back in hand? Oof. Alright, that's not their hand anymore. High Tide should be in their hand now, I would assume. Okie doke. Well, I'm just going to Inquisition them again with Jace, right? I think that's how this works. Then I guess they can pass in Flames again and then cast High Tide again. I mean, it still makes sense to discard the darn thing, but I definitely don't want to cast Meditate on their end step. I have to test that on my main. The question I have is it worth casting Visions of Beyond? I think I still need to hold on to it. I wish they had cast Meditate. I think they had to cast Meditate at some point in time on their turn there to try to like run a counter magic. I would do mine in response. Alright, so cool. Well, I don't think that gets anywhere though. Alright, just change the situation at all. So this goes to Dark Ritual, goes up to 18, cast Meditate, 19. Hopefully draw some other nonsense. I'm going to try to go for it. I don't know if it's per se right, but we're going to try to do it here. Could have Force of Will. If they DT'd for Force of Will, that means their hand is literally just going to be Meditate and Condescend, or Condescend, right? I don't really care if they force this. I would feel pretty fine, I think, with that outcome. Okay. Alright. DT for High Tide. Okay. Alright, so you are just going to lose the game then, right? Okie doke. Yeah, that was the wrong thing to go for. Well, so the High Tide's not on top of your deck anymore. Why would you Nos Revival it and then DT? I am so confused by their play right now. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, I guess I probably... Like, it wouldn't have made sense. I guess it made... No, it doesn't make sense to go for Force of Will there. It's just like, you're not... That's not a winning game plan. So now you're just going to try to meditate and take 2 turns? I'm so battered. Or baffled. Alright, can I go for it right now? I think the problem is going to end up being mana. I can just draw 6. I mean... Get turnabout? I think I can make it this turn still. Because they're down to a what? What did they exile? I think it was... They kept Meditate, which makes sense. Alright, turnabout. Okay, yeah, they're just done. I do have it here. It's just I'm thinking through it to make sure I do it correctly. Alright, well, no sideboarding. Defense grid would be nice in this matchup. They have more counter magic than I do. Yeah, Force of Will. Just, this hand's actually pretty good. I like it. I mean, if it had red mana, it'd be better, but we have Serum Visions on turn 1, which is pretty good. Yeah, the Force of Will play. So, MTG Shark, I know you do watch some of these. Force of Will does not make sense there. I mean, like, it stops me from winning. But the problem is, like, how are you going to win after that? I mean, you're just hoping to hit a Meditate and then give me 2 turns. And I don't even think it would have worked there. Alright, so this and this. Alright, bottom. I think we will keep Reach. Top. Just to build up the storm. Build up the graveyard, really, what it comes down to. So, lands. Alright, I'm going to cast a... Oh, Sapphire. You cast. Okay, I was going to say, me too? That'd be awesome. Alrighty. Well, I'm just going to do this now. Alrighty, here you go. Well, DT is pretty nice for finding... Oh, we got here. Alright. I'm going to Forbidden Alchemy on their end step. Just leave up mana. I think it makes more sense. Alrighty, what we got, my man? Alright, more land and go, or are you going to do something here? Okay. This is turn 4. They already made their land drop. They trying to go for it right now? Maybe their hand was just really shitty, and they wanted to cast it. Like I cast it just to set up value off Yogg-Will. That's why I'm very loath to cast on this Urborg, because it does give them fix for black mana, which they're playing Tendrils in their deck. So, you know, Urborg's kind of dicey. If I don't have a land, I will play it, but I do not want to play it because I think it does more to benefit them than it certainly does me. Okay. Well, if you're doing Ideas Unbound this turn, typically speaking, you don't want to cast out Cloud of Fae unless you're going to win this turn. Okay. Be curious to see what they take here. I think it's probably the Blue Sun Zenith with the Scalding Tarn pile. Nope, they take the bigger pile of lands with the Tendrils, which generally you don't want in your hand. But they're going to discard 8 here. They're going to discard for hand size as well. Can I win next turn? I'm pretty close. So they discard 3. Tendrils would be one of those cards. I'll probably just keep the lands. I assume they discard Tendrils here. Okay. Alright, discard down to 5. Alright, Forbidden Alchemy. Bless me, guys. Alright, I'm going to take the Underground Sea here. Oop, cancel. Alright, Strix. Sea Beyond, I want to get rid of this Urborg really badly. Alright, you're going, man. If they have like a Twister, that could be rough and go off the shore. Yep. Drowse can actually buy a turn. You can use this like a silence on your opponent's upkeep if you need a turn. I'm F6 at this point. I do not have Force of Will. I actually don't know if I run it in this deck. I think I do run it in the deck, but I don't like to have Force of Will in these matchups. In the aggro matchups, I think it's kind of actively bad. Discard's so much better. It's a 2-for-1 answer, and it's just very hard to use it effectively in this matchup, I think. Alright, so they do have an Underground Sea themselves. We're going to trade critters. I will trade you critters. I do not mean my Strix in play. I think it's better to me in the yard. Alright, they're doing nothing. Alright, well, we have a Tendrils as well. I'm going to fetch here, find my Volk. Yeah, Lexi, give me a little bit, man. I'm in the middle of a game, brother. Alright, that resolves. Cool. Okie doke. Yep, you got it. You get back to engulf the shore. I don't know. I may be using turnabout defensively here. Or not defensively, offensively here. I have to look at the show chat, show this thing. Alrighty. Chooses fact or fiction. Okay, well that's going to happen. I can't stop that. Okay. Four cards in hand. Okay. I think this is the correct setup here. So I don't want them to have counter magic. They're on 4 cards. They do have at least some land. What do we get out? All right, I don't want them to have snap. I don't want them to have counter magic is what I don't want them to have. Because I can actually screw them up like mid-combo with Turnabout if they try to go for a High Tide turn. If they like say High Tide and then like I cast Turnabout to tap down their lands, it's just a bad feeling. Yeah, he is fine. Question is, can I win next turn? I'm gosh awful close, right? Actually, I think I do have a win next turn if I try to go for it. I'm going to Frantic Search here on end step. I know it's a waste of mana. They could counter it. I think that would be bad, but... Go ahead and get it, though, if they want. I do believe they have 1 island left. I should have been counting better. I believe they have 1 island. Tendrils, Wheel, we know about. Alright, we're going to counter this. That's cool. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Loot. It's pretty aggressive. Huh. Maybe getting late on MTG Shark's end. That's alright. So island goes the way of the bin. Alright, yeah, we pass it, and here's what we do. So I think we do is this. I think we go... wait a second. No, undo. Could also Forbidden Alchemy, right? So I wait and see what they do. I'll end step it. I don't think they're that close to going off, especially if they force a will to Frantic Search. If they force a will to Frantic Search, it means they're worried about me going off and their hand sucks, I think. We know at least 2 of the cards in their hand are terrible. Like Tendrils and Force of Will, or and Wheel of Fortune are actively bad right now. And they just played Nylon, so they're not casting Wheel this turn. So I think it makes sense to try to end step Turnabout them. Alright, a lot of mana. What have we got? Their blue spells are really cheap because they have, Sapphire and Brawl out. Okay. You're at 8 cards. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. What have we got? Okay. I don't like Peregrine Drake and Palinchron. I mean, I guess in High Tide Storm, they're probably actually pretty solid, but I do not care for them in Storm generally. They're just so expensive to get going. And if he gets countered there, like, the game just ends. And this new art, well, I'm sorry, MTG Shark, the new art is not as pretty as the old art. I guess the old art's kind of bad too, but whatever. I still like it. You have to be going for it this turn, right? We know you have Tendrils, but what can you do at this turn? Because otherwise you're just doing fly or beat down, right? And Peregrine Drake is not a great clock. I mean, I guess it is another storm count less that you need for Tendrils, which is pretty cool. Hold up. That's not happening. Turnabout. Okay. What is this, a bazillion mana counter? Alright, well, they're tapped at a minimum. I kind of wanted this hand, but that's alright. Well, do you have untap effects, my friend? I do believe I run Force of Will in this deck, so if they do like just start going ham, I'll probably try to cast out Forbidden Alchemy. Okay. Is this like for High Tide? Or is it for an untap effect? Turnabout. Alright, I need to double check my deck right fast, guys. I'm going to go look at this real quick and see if I could mise something here. It is certainly not this deck. This deck is called the Moderate Storm. That's what it is, a very moderate storm. It's not really a perfect storm. Is there any way to stop this? Well, unfortunately our sideboard is where we keep most of our counter magic. So I think we're just going to get goozled here. Alright, they have High Tide. Cool. Alright, High Tide. And Turnabout. Okay. Well, I could also possibly... There is a possibility for a Brain Freeze win con here. That is not unreasonable. Yeah. Okay. So, I think what I have to do is try to do this in response to a draw on themselves, or when they draw for themselves. Alright, Peregrine Drake, yep, that's cool. So I'm going for Brain Freeze, right? That's my only way to win this, and then they have to try. They have to have a draw card on the stack, and then I need to. All right, so they have Tendrils. They have me dead, I think. I think they ripped into it. Well, no, they had Tendrils before. They already Time Twistered, so Tendrils not per se in their hand. This is. I mean, Turnabout is. Yep, Brawl, cool. Alright, what we got? What have we got, my man? They could just have it in hand. If they have Tendrils in hand, they just win, right? I can't stop that. Well, actually, wait. Can I quicken into it? Quicken into Tendrils and kill them in response to their own Tendrils? God, the value, guys. The value is so high. I need a second High Tide to be on the stack, though. So I could, like, tap my Volcanic Island, cast High Tide, leave red floating. I don't even need red. Just tap Volcanic Island for double blue. High Tide. Sunken Hollow. Underground Sea. It's 6, 7. Invest 3 into Forbidden Alchemy. Actually, I draw an untap effect, too, to keep going. Like, Frantic Search. Or Turnabout. Actually, would do it, too. Alright, what we got? Okay. Yep, you got it. Okay, we're going to be on like double High Tide. Okay. So I do not think we are 0% to lose here. It's got to be down to like the 1 to 2% because my line is very thin. My line is literally to try to use High Tide mana to draw into a Brain Freeze while there's a draw instant or a sorcery on the stack for them, and then Brain Freeze them out with their own Storm count. Very, very thin. But them casting their High Tide actually is part of that plan. Now, they need to draw a 1-drop here. Is it like literal High Tide? I mean, if they just fizzled, that'd be miserable. Actually, no, Dizzy Spell only gets High Tide. What else does it get in this deck? Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain, Giga Drowse. But I suppose if they go for Giga Drowse, I can just mill them. But I don't really want to mill them until I can mill them for the whole thing because they have Past in Flames in their deck, which is very bad for us. So what is Dizzy Spell getting? Could just get a bounce spell like Repeal. Alright, Nauseous Revival, okay. That's to get High Tide, I assume, or Turnabout possibly, or Twister, even. Twister's interesting. If it's Twister, I probably don't. I just don't cast anything. I just let him twist. Because the plan still stands. It's either Tendrils with Quicken or Brain Freeze in response to draw. Both are very thin. Like the Tendrils is actually probably more legit. All right, it's Merchant Scroll. Okay. All right, how do you draw into it? I can also try to mill this and see if I can screw them up. It's legit. Actually, an idea. Okay. We know they're at a minimum going to hit Merchant Scroll. Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Muddle of the Mixture. Okay, counterspell. For Demonic Tutor. Okay. So that's going to get DT. DT gets Tendrils and I lose. Alright. So in response to this, we need to wait for them to tap out for it, right? Okay, get it. I could try to mill them too. I mean, maybe I'd do it before. I don't know. No, you know what was actually more correct is to do it before. Is to go for, like... So, cast your drills. Okay, 18. I don't think I have Stifle in this deck either. So, let's try this. Blue. High Tide. Will you allow this to resolve or no? Does any of this do it? No. What does Entomb do? Nothing. Take the Time Spiral. Opt. We're just trying here. A repeal. That does nothing. Bottom that. Alright, snap on what? Snap on nothing. Mental note. Yeah, I need to hit like a frantic search or something. Maybe that would have done it. Alright, concede. We're just dead. I think it was more correct to actually try to do that in response to the DT on the stack. I mean, we're talking about like percentile, like half a percentile points for either. But the reason you do it while it's on the stack, the DT's on the stack, is because if you find brain freeze, you could actually brain freeze them and possibly mill the tendrils so they don't have the win con in the deck anymore, and they just DT for something else, and then like they just bust their whole storm sequence. So that was the reason to do it. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, this hand has some game to it, that's for sure. Alright, go. Alrighty. Alright. In response, F6 value, go. Okay, duress, cool. Well, we'll see pretty soon here what we're going to be getting rid of out of this hand with the Brainstorm. We'll be passing that on our next main phase. We're likely to duress them and then get rid of the Pyretic Ritual. And I don't really like the Mana Flare in this matchup. I think Mana Flare is like really risky. Not like really risky. It's like bad. It's just bad. Okay, Brainstorm. Well, this. Probably this, actually, of all things. Go for an underground here. See what is up. Alright, try going off without a high tide, my friend. Telling time? Probably. It's a lot better than Serum Visions. I mean, maybe Serum Visions. They probably want to get rid of the tendrils, though. You don't really want tendrils in your hand. It's just it is a dead card until it's time to win. Like, you really would rather find it while you're winning. They do not have counter magic, which is kind of interesting to note. Alright, land nothing. Now they're going to pretend they had counter magic. Alright. Go. Well, they'd have telling time. I'm dumb. Okay. They need to find a land here, more than likely. I would be looking for land if I were them, I think. Alrighty, your Gil, my man. Maybe I should have intuitioned end step there just to make sure it resolved. That was probably more correct. I'm going to find Volcanic Island here and Intuition, and I'm not really sure what I'm getting here. I just know I want to resolve it right now. Alright, it is indeed resolving. My issue with this hand is going to be cards, right? Or is it going to be mana? Hmm. Honestly, here, what do we think of just getting lands? Lands are not bad here. Like, it's really essential that I hit one, right? Yeah, I think I kind of like that. So what we do is, like, Island. As much as I normally wouldn't like this, I kind of don't mind it here. Okay, your go. Alrighty. Less to draw at this point, too, and I really don't want many more lands. I think I can win with 4. 5 is optimal, but I mean, 4 is winnable. Especially with Turnabout and Mana Flare. Should be good enough. So we can make 4 to pay for the Turnabout right now, and then Peer if we need to. If they tap out for something else after this, then we're probably pretty good. The problem is I could take the rituals to get big mana, but the issue that I run into with that line of play is that I'm still short of blue mana because I have to use, if I get Dark Ritual, let's say, get black mana, tap red, use 1 black to make 3 red, 2 black, 3 red floating, and then I have 1 blue left. I can get the Mana Flare down, and I have 2 mana left over from that exchange, plus 1 blue, and I still need to Turnabout at that point. To get the mana back. I guess I could Peer and try to, Peer can't find lands, unfortunately. Just play something dumb out. Alright, cool. Okay. Alright, so do we go for it this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be 8. I think we give it a college try. Ritual. Could force it. All right, go ahead, my friend. Can you win this turn, basically, is what I'm telling them. Go for it. Okay, Merchant Scroll. They're going to give it a shot. Yeah, maybe it was right to wait a little longer on this. It probably was in retrospect. I mean, I was kind of banking very heavily on the peer through depths. That was kind of a big part of the plan there. They could just go for a time twister, which I think would be pretty good. I still wouldn't mind that, though. I think I'm still in a good spot because they're down to not many lands in play right now. And as long as they don't kill me this very turn, I get a turn to kind of get back on the game. If I get 7 cards, right? But they basically know I'm winning next turn. Like, if they can't counter what I'm doing next turn, I'm winning next turn. They can counter it, but I mean, like, if they get Force of Will, I think that's bad because they just, like, pitch. They're pitching 2 cards. They're pitching Force of Will plus another card that ostensibly they need to combo with, right? Then cast Peregrine Drake here and get up to 6. So what's their line here? They can't have to get an instant though, right? It's got to be an instant. So they Peregrine Drake, untap. They need black mana to Tendrils, maybe. No Tendrils in hand. I don't know. We'll see. And I mean, if they're Force of Willing or countering, I think a 2-part spell, I feel pretty decent about that. I think that's okay. Alrighty, what's it going to be, my man? Okay, Frantic Search. Alright, well, you got mana for days. Go ahead and make it. Cast that Peregrine Drake out. Okay, Frantic Search. They're looking for landage here, I think. This is at least card disadvantage. Card selection at the effective disadvantage. Give you a lot of mana, though, off my Mana Flare. Mana Flare was a risky line. It is probably at its most even in this matchup. All right, some islands went to the yard, so they found an island, I suppose, then. Because they do want to make their land drop, I think. So they must have found a 3rd island, which is good for us. So they're down to 4. Peregrine Drake, Tendrils are 2 other cards, then island, I assume. You want to tap the other island so you can make more mana with it. So Peregrine Drake, island, Tendrils. I think that's what they have in hand. And there's 2 other cards I don't know about. Okay. Well, they missed out on some mana there. Alright, they have red now. So that was the other land they found. Alright, they're just done. Okay. Alright. Okay. Counter it. I'll just replay it next turn, right? Go the Mind's Desire route just for fun, for funsies. No. Alright, and Tendrils. Alrighty. There we go, guys. Got a Tendrils kill here. Got 2 Tendrils kills in this game. One from MTG Shark side, one from our side. Got a little lucky there. They just didn't hit it. Their hand was not great, though. So, MTG, if you watch these, Tendrils is not a card you ever want in your hand at the opener. You want to find it, kind of like we did there. Like it is essentially a 6-card hand if you have Tendrils in your hand. The card is just utter rubbish to have at any point in time before you actually want to use it to win. I'm not a fan of having my hand. I just, I know it's close and it's like easy to get, but it's so bad. God. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. MTG Shark, I really think the High Tide deck is cool. I think this Storm deck's pretty cool too. Storm in general is just tough. It's very tough in Highlander. It's very convoluted. This matchup's one I've never played. I've never played like Storm versus Storm in Highlander. I played it, a lot in Vintage and like Modern and Legacy, but like here it's quite a bit different. And these are 2 different approaches on the Storm deck. I mean, they're both using the same win con, but they're very different approaches. One's very island centric. The other, I guess, both are fairly island centric. My deck does use High Tide as well because it is base blue, but it tends to use a lot more red and black as well. Really, the black for the interaction. It does not have counter magic in it. It has counter magic in the sideboard, but like counter magic to protect, not really to defend. It's more to make sure that your stuff goes through, like Fluster Storms and Pact of Negations and stuff like that, defense grids, etc., etc. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed these 3 different videos we're going to be putting up of Highlander, German Highlander, and I am playing Storm versus, or 4-color Storm, or 3-color Storm, versus what I believe is, actually, they're both 3-color Storm decks. So actually, there's a lot of similarities between both decks. His is more of a combo control shell because it has counter magic in it. Mine is just more of an all-out combo shell. I think if I got to play around Disruption, I probably had some sooner kills. I took a little bit of risk in my last game there with the Mana Flare line. I think it was still, I don't know, it was close, guys. I don't know if it was right or not. Their hand was pretty bad, so maybe I should have just waited. But they had seen 4 additional cards, and they were going to see an additional draw step, and I kind of felt like it was getting to a point where, like, I didn't have good fidelity on hidden information anymore, and if they're just going to leave mana up, they could possibly get me. And the line we went for basically said like they had to have 2 counter spells to counter Past in Flames twice, which would mean that was coming at the cost of their primary game plan. And then we could just mise into something else after that as well, like draw 7, either wheel, Time Spiral, Dark Petition, any of the tutors, Time Twister, etc. So I don't know if the line was right or not. We took it and it worked. I don't know if it was like. I don't know if it was above the 50% line. If it was if it was the right line. I think it was very close. It's a very close call. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the Storm content. Storm v Storm, very fun games. MTG Shark, thank you as always for the games, man, and I hope you can appreciate the content. All right, guys, take care now and enjoy.